Well, if you brought your girlfriend this time, like last time,
Jesus,
she's your girlfriend.
Not my girlfriend.
It's his girlfriend.
I have not spoken to her since.
He sounds like every 12-year-old I know. She's not my girlfriend. That's what they do when they turn 13. They're like, and then 14, they're like, she can sit on my face.
Yo, she was like, I feel so bad. I embarrassed myself. I was like...
You went down on her, too.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely
got herpes.
No,
shit happens, dude.
No,
that bitch is dumb as fuck.
Don't put that on
She got lost in this shop 3 times in one day. Pretty small place.
Yeah, she's retarded.
You ready for the show? Or what's happening? Are you 18? Don't tell me. I don't care.
I'm still waiting for our walk-up music.
Oh, that's just gunshots. My bad. Hold on.
Good enough.
That's the sound of my set last night. They know.
I heard.
All right, here we go. Wait, do you have your paper?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, we got paper.
Let's give a quick explanation.
Let's give a quick explanation
of how this is going to go. All right. Has anybody ever been to a try and joke show with Andrew and I? Yeah. Basically, it's Andrew and I come up here with jokes that we've written that we've never done before, and that's the rule. They have to have never been done before, and it's just trying out new material. So that's what it's all about for us, is getting to work out new stuff. Cool. This is kind of the same thing, but instead what we're doing is we're going to kind of interview each other.
That's her birth control alarm. Which, by the way, your birth control alarm comes with menopause. You don't need it anymore. You don't need that.
I don't know. I would silence it now if I were you, because he's got more jokes than loaded. Oh, that one's important. So anyway, so the idea of this one is we're going to kind of ask each other questions and just tell stories. And the idea is hopefully some of these stories will jog things for us that we could create material out of later on. But they're all going to be true stories. We're going to start with our childhood and also, see how it goes from there.
I can't afford therapy, so thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's mostly because I don't charge enough for these shows. Okay. He said boo. He's like, I want them all free. This shit sucks. All right. I agree, sir. But you're shiny from over there, so it's nice. You want to ask me first, or I ask you first?
I'll ask you first.
Okay. Hit me with one.
Let's start with, what is your first memory?
Okay, we've actually talked about this on stage once, but my first memory, it's one of those things like, Matt actually asked me if I remembered my first memory one time, and I was like, I don't, but then I could think for a while, and I go, what's the earliest thing? And I worked on it for like a week before I was like, oh shit, that's awful. The first thing I ever remember happening is my mom had a home daycare, and we had this kid named Brandon that she was taking care of at the home daycare, and there was a ditch in front of our house, and he would go out into the ditch, and he would make a voodoo doll, which is, that's not that big of a deal, but it was out of poop, which is really weird. So I called it a doo-doo doll, and that's just what happened. Like, I don't know, he was just a weird motherfucker. That's it. I just thought, actually, I could probably just say what I just said. That's kind of a joke by itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's true is crazy, and the fact that he didn't put the corn where the eyes go, I think is a big mistake. There was no corn. We didn't feed him corn. I'm sorry. It's just, I had to live through it. You just have to live through hearing it for 5 seconds. You're good. You'll be okay. All right, now, that wasn't much. I got on here, it says you have a fear of mice.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
So I like to tell everybody that I'm not afraid of mice, I just don't like them. But that's not true. I'm terrified of mice. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. They're small, they're furry, they're fast. I don't fucking like them, right? When I see a mouse, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm like, oh, shit. I'll put my feet up on the counter before my wife any day of the week when it comes to mice, all right? And this is a true story of where that fear came from. I grew up with 5 cousins that were all older than me, and they were girls. So I was the youngest, and I was the only boy in the group, right? And I would annoy the shit out of them as the younger sibling, person would do. So what I did is I'd seen something on TV about Houdini, okay? And Houdini could get out of anything. So I went to him, I said, you can tie me up, you can do whatever you want, I can get out of any situation. And they said, bet. So they put a chair up on their dining table. I sat in the chair. They went, got rope and extension cords and whatever else they could find, and they tied me to this fucking chair. And they said, all right, see if you can get out. Now, their original plan was pretty harmless. It was just like, there, now he's out of our fucking way for a while, right? But after about probably 30 minutes of me trying to struggle and get out of this, they were like, hey, you know what? We can do whatever we want because he can't get away right now. So 2 of them picked up the chair, carried me down the hallway, and stuck me in a closet in a bedroom. And then closed the door. It's pitch black. I'm 7, maybe. I'm 7 years old. This is my aunt. She's the lady who raised these 5 hoodlums that did this to me. Well, she was responsible for me getting on their nerves too. So they stick me in this closet, and then once they get me in there, they start scratching on the door and telling me that there's mice and they're trying to eat my toes and all this shit. To the point where I freak and I'm having a complete meltdown just in time for my savior, aka my uncle, to come home and find out that they've done this to me. I've never enjoyed watching people get their asses whipped. They fucking deserved it. Now, here's what tops it off and makes it even better. The older of the 2 girls that tied me, she got her ass whipped too. The next day, her test results came back. She was pregnant. So her dad had just whipped her ass and then found out she was pregnant, and I've never seen a man feel more guilty in all my life. So that's the story of why I'm terrified of mice.
I have a slight problem with your mindset at the age of 7. You thought there's one guy that's famous for being able to do anything, get out of anything.
Yeah.
I'm the other guy. Like, what the fuck are the odds? There's Harry Houdini, Matt Farrell.
Yeah.
That's what you thought.
I still fucking believe it. That was a fluke.
You're in a tattoo shop for free right now, buddy. I don't know if we should say anything about us achieving anything, really. We're good at putting chairs out. Actually, my wife did that. I didn't even do that shit. We're good at... They saw how good we are at setting up the pre-show shit. We nailed that. We're experts. Okay. My turn?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'd like to hear about...
My list is too long.
Your list is long, but there's some things on here that definitely intrigue me. Tell me about your black lab puppy mix.
Okay. So
the dog's not the interesting part of the story.
No, I mean, it was a cute dog, though. So when I had to be less than 7 because we moved a lot when I was 7. This is when I lived in Surreal. But we got a dog that, you know how you get a dog when you're poor. Just a dog shows up and you just keep it. But it was a lab mix. It looked like some kind of bird dog. We thought it might be half Brittany, half lab. Cute little dog. And because at the time we were experimenting with Judaism, we named the dog Shalom, which I still don't fucking understand. But we went through a phase where we decided, my dad decided we were Jewish because, check this out, Jesus was Jewish. So to be closer to Jesus, we should become Jewish. But when you become Jewish, you no longer believe in Jesus. So I got about halfway through being Jewish for like a year and a half and then found out we were fucking idiots. So, good news is I learned the Hebrew alphabet, though, when I was a little kid. And my dad was trying to learn it, and I would just sit, like, I would hide around the corner because he didn't like me to be near him. But I would hide around the corner, I would listen. I learned the alphabet before him, and he took the fucking floppy disk and threw that bitch outside because he was so mad he got showed up by a little kid. I didn't have a job, dude. It was fine. Also, I might be autistic. We don't know.
How many people in here don't know what a floppy disk is?
Oh, this guy doesn't know what a floppy disk is.
He ain't never seen a floppy disk, I
promise.
promise.
So you know what a CD is? Take a CD, make it floppy, shrink it down, put it inside a square piece of plastic, and then make it very unreliable. That's a floppy disk. Also, a shitty Frisbee you could also call a floppy disk. I think all yours are going to be longer, but we have less of yours. Do you want to do like 2 short ones of mine, or how do we do this?
Yeah, I'll give you another one.
Hit me with another, because mine are almost all pretty short.
Tell me about Hot Wire.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I realized, I thought we were doing really well when I was a kid. I knew we were poor, but I also knew my dad was rich, and he lived with us, so I figured that probably counted as we were doing okay. And I was like, we're living out in the country, and in Surreal, we were, popular-ish people, I think, and people thought we were doing okay. And I look back on it and I go, we were broke as fuck. And I did not realize how bad it was, but my brother's job on days we went to the grocery store when he was like 10 years old was to go hot wire my mom's car. Because my mom drove a T-Bird with 4 kids which I don't know how the math works out on that, but I know it wasn't safe. And my mom would go, hey, Deuce, can you go hotwire the car so we can start it, because we didn't have a key. I don't think we bought the car. I don't know. I don't know where we got the car, but I don't believe that we had a title for this car. The tag plate, I don't know if there was one. But then she would take it out in the country and fucking make us think she was launching that bitch. She'd like gun it up a hill and then let off and make us think it was floating because we were little kids. And then one time she forgot to let off, and that bitch could jump Dukes of Hazzard style. Which, by the way, Dukes of Hazzard, just for you, it's a show that embraced the South and Southern heritage and racism a little. But, no, just the car. It's fine. But no, it was a great show. There was a guy, he was fat, he drove a cool Cadillac. There were a couple brothers. They shot bow and arrows at shit and lit it on fire. It was dope. You should check it out. It's pretty good shit. Also, Daisy, oh my God, dude. Do you know what pre-cum is? You watch a little Daisy Duke, oh my dude. You see the bottom of her booty cheeks? It's a 90s ass, but it'll still do. You will be hard as fuck watching the first time you ever watch, okay, maybe not because you have like triple penetration porn, but I didn't. The best thing I had when I was like 10 years old was fucking Daisy Duke. Oh my God, that bitch was fine.
Daisy Duke was exceptional.
I'd like to get her pregnant
when
now.
we were kids. I look back on her and I'm just like, oh.
Flat ass,
that
kind of
was
normal.
She was a toothpick in short shorts.
What about Ellie Mae from the, Beverly Hillbillies?
She had some curves. She had
Yeah.
curves.
Ellie Mae could get it. I like her name too.
The
Are
Jessica
you half
Simpson, I was
lesbian?
disappointed with the remake.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought y'all were with Gary. I don't know what's happening.
We are.
We'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently, Matt Farrow once got into a fight with a fella named Kenny.
Yeah, okay, so so my best friend growing up was a kid named Kenny. And does anybody know what spina bifida is? Sounds a little bit wild, right? So he was born with spina bifida, which means that he basically he couldn't walk. He was in a wheelchair. And that was my running buddy. He was my best friend. So I rode a bike and he pushed.
Hold on, pause.
What?
You're a running buddy in a wheelchair.
Poor choice of words. My bad. He was my rolling buddy.
We rolled together.
Yeah. So he was in a wheelchair. I rode my bike. We terrorized the neighborhood. We went everywhere together. We did everything together. We got in all kinds of trouble together. And as best friends do, we would get tired of each other's shit and we would fight. So other people would be driving down the street and see me fighting with a kid in a wheelchair and be like, hey, get off that cripple boy, you know? And I'd be like, motherfucker, tell him to get off me, he's winning, you know? Like, yeah, you ever mess with somebody who's in a wheelchair? No, their arms are strong as shit. But he was always sitting down, so he's perfect height. So I would just walk up next to him. He would just sling his arm out and hit me right in the dick, and that would piss me off. And then the fight would be on, and then people would drive by and think I was picking on a handicapped kid. And it's bullshit.
That's what I call equality. Also, fun fact, I hope this doesn't cut into my storytelling, but wheelchair shit, when I was a kid, not a kid, like a teenager, probably 15, 16, I had a wheelchair that I just bought at a garage sale. I just thought it was cool. I tattooed myself in the wheelchair. But anyway, we took it to Country Mart. We just thought this would be funny. We took it to Country Mart, and my brother was like, all right, you roll out in the wheelchair, I'm going to come up at you with a stun gun. I'm going to act like I hit you with a stun gun and take your wheelchair and drive off. So people think like it's a crazy prank. I'm going to fuck this kid in the wheelchair up and leave him laying there. You just got to remember, limp legs whole time. And I was like, deal, that sounds great. So we get there, I roll out of the place, my brother sneaks up behind me and hits me with a stun gun, doesn't fake hit me with a stun gun, lights me up in my fucking rib cage right here, sticks it in, just sticking those metal prongs in there hurt.
Yeah.
1,000 volts or whatever the fuck it is, that shit hurt. So zaps the fuck out of me, and this was when Country Mart was right across from, I think it was like, what was the bar that was there that it was really popular?
Where?
West Side Country Mart, there was a Korean bar.
Oh, the Shangri-La.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah, the Shangri-La
There's
bar.
some soldiers out front, they were good people. And the problem with good people is they saw my brother like, fuck that shit, you can't do that. They don't even try to help me, they just chase him to get my wheelchair, which is great. But then I get up running. And I don't know what the fuck to do. And
It's a miracle! It's a miracle!
My homeboy Chris Brown, who has been to a few of these shows, Chris was with us, and Chris and I were like, oh, fuck. And then we see some cops pull up. We don't know where to go, so we're just like, where to go? There was a fence behind there. I don't know if there's still a fence back there. We tried to jump the fence. Somehow Chris has the stun gun. I don't know what the fuck happened. Chris is jumping over, and he fucking hits it and shocks his face. Dude, this was the best day of my life. Chris was spending the night. We weren't supposed to be out. We had snuck out. We get back to the house. We're having breakfast at my family's house the next day. And my mom's like, hey, Chris, what happened to your face? And my brother and I are just like, you know, he just woke up like that. We had no, it would have made sense to be like we were play fighting in the backyard or something. We had no answers. And then for at least 6 months, he was like, but I almost cleared that fence without any help. And I was like, you shocked yourself in the face with a stun gun. I don't think you're that coordinated. So that's all.
I like that story involved 9 hate crimes that were all self-inflicted.
Well, it's not a hate crime if I'm a fake cripple, but fake and cripple might be a hate crime. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like it still counts.
I was trying to crip walk.
We're sorry. Y'all can go now.
No, that's a corny joke I do when Israel does a certain bit about joining gangs.
Yeah.
But he's got the leg thing, but they don't know, so we'll just save it. Anyway, I think it's time to, was it time to hear? Oh, shit, I just told the story, but it wasn't on the list, so whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I can off script right out of the gate.
Waiting to find out about your dog. Yeah, you never told the dog.
About my dog? I told the whole story about the dog. We named her Shalom because we were Jewish. We were Jewish for a little while. And then that's it. I didn't say they're all hilarious. I said I fucking got high.
We were like, where was it?
This whole time they've been concerned about that dog.
She was fine. Okay, I'll tell you the rest of her whole story. She was our dog for like 8 years. We moved a lot and she didn't like having a tiny backyard. We gave her to a vet named Dr. Beavers as a grandmother. Dr. Beavers' grandmother had a big ranch. She took great care of Shalom for a long time. I bet that bitch stopped calling her Shalom the day she got her, though.
That was going to be my question, is did she still call that dog Shalom?
Dude, can you imagine taking your dog, like you take your dog to the vet and you're like, Shalom, come here. And they're like, bitch, you're Mexican. You can't do that. I was Jewish, though, so it's fine. That's why I'm so good with money now.
Partial. You were partial Jewish.
We don't want to talk about that.
You want to see my wiener? Oh, shit. This dude saw me at the fucking water department today. They cut my water off because we had a new debit card. Our debit card got replaced in May.
So that's your excuse?
Shut the fuck up. Our debit card got replaced in May. We didn't see at the bottom in fine print of one email that we're late. We can still keep paying our water bill and just accruing late fees. So my water bill was $384. They cut my water off. They did not warn me. Fuck the city lot. I immediately Googled glitter bombs. Is it a felony to send glitter bombs to a city building? Can I shoot the mayor in the dick? Like, I looked up everything.
Hey, let me tell you something. I like how spoiled y'all are here in Lawton. $384 water bill. You're bitching about that? You also get trash service, fire service, and police service with that. Bitch, I live in the country. Our water bill's sometimes $384 in June for no fucking reason, and that's just fucking water.
See, here's
You don't
the
get
thing.
no trash service. You don't get no cops. You don't get no fire
Let's
department.
get political real quick. I think the government has a monopoly, I can't say the word, monopoly on water,
Yeah.
and I don't think they should. I think we should do our own private water company. We should get our own lake, and we should fucking water these thirsty bitches. It's a good business idea. He'll help. He'll be our marketing guy. He'll be like, have you ever paid $384 for a water bill? And then everybody out in the country will say,
Did you
yes.
steal them goggles from a minion?
Yes. It was his side hoe.
I'll give it this much.
He likes Twinkies.
Her name is...
Makes me laugh.
At the water company, though.
Wait till they
I also
monopolize
tattooed that guy's
air.
dad.
Wait till they monopolize air.
We're doing it. Okay, canned air is a thing. Let's go. What's the story?
I bought some canned air one
I
time.
bought canned air too.
It was
I'm fucking
stupid.
Oh my god. It was like $14 for a can of air. I was like, I'm in New Mexico. Fuck it. It's air, bitch. It's free.
So you got one on here that it says my first high-speed chase.
I didn't even, when you said that earlier, we were going over shit like, I don't know which ones. I never thought of the fact that most people that live a pretty legal and good life have only had one high-speed chase. Or some of them never.
No, most people that live a good, clean, legal life have never had a high-speed chase, Andrew.
Okay, so let me tell this story and start with, I was 14 and I was not driving. Okay? My friend Anthony was 21, but I knew how to bag cars, which is a skill set that you'll go, we'll let this 14-year-old hang out. They call me in the middle of the night and be like, do y'all know what airbags are on cars? Not the safety feature, but psh, 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 psh. Okay. I knew how to wire the switches and shit, and they'd have me come over and psh, psh, make it work. So I was at Anthony's house one time, fixing his truck. Child labor laws were not applying to this. And then he was like, all right, let's go test it out. We take it out, and he's on his 5th sound violation because he's got a sound system in it. And back then, you would fucking lose your license over like 5 anything, or 6, I don't know. But he was worried about it becoming a felony charge, apparently. We're going like 60 over by Atwoods. I don't think that's the speed limit. And a cop just lights us up. Middle of the day, it's like 4 o'clock. Cop lights us up, and I go, hey, dude, we're getting pulled over. And he goes, the fuck we are? And I'm scared shitless. I'm a little kid. I'm homeschooled. I've never fucking done any of this crime shit. I was fucking freaking out. And also, it's a bagged mini truck. It was a Nissan hardbody. It is not built for that. So he didn't think to lift it up. We go around the corner, and it just goes throwing sparks everywhere by where that car wash is now. Yeah. We whip around. We probably got up to about 100, maybe 110 in that little piece of shit. And then he goes, I don't think we're losing this cop. And I'm like, no shit, I'm 14. You're a fucking idiot, dude. Like, I knew that it's a hard body. It's not a fast truck. So we pulled up. He thinks he's going to hide a bright blue bagged vehicle behind the apartments next to where, at the time, Altered Images was. Uh-huh. But we pull up behind there. He fucking lays it out. I don't know why. He's like, that just makes that's noisy. Why are you doing that? The cop comes up. This is the greatest moment of my fucking life at this point. The cop comes up and he's like, so do you know I pulled you over? And I'm like, I would think you would start with like handcuffs or something. The cop was super chill. He goes, do you know I pulled you over? And he's like, I assume I was speeding, officer. And he's like, yeah. Also the sound. Also, I don't know if it's legal to drag your frame on the ground. I don't know if you've heard of evading arrest. This guy's a super smart ass. It was great. He's like, I don't know if you've heard of evading arrest, but that's a crime. And then he gave us a speeding ticket for going 10 over and let us go.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, that's when I stopped hating cops.
Here's the deal. How many of y'all are from Lawton? From Lawton, or at least been here for a long time. I want to take a venture of the guess of, I don't know, you might not even remember, the cop's name. Do you remember the cop's name?
I don't remember the cop's name. If you told me, I might know. I don't know if I even
Was his name Terry McDougal?
I think I would remember McDougal. I don't know. But I can hit Anthony up after the show because I saw him. He works at the Indian Clinic now.
Because here's 2. I'm going to throw these in there. First of all, I tried to outrun the cops one time. So my dad had an 81 Camaro. And I was a kid and I drove it all the time. It was not fast. It had a V6 in it. The speedometer said 85. It was a piece of shit. It was an automatic. It was not, but it looked like a sports car, right? So I would get pulled over going to my girlfriend's house every day because I was just a kid driving a sports car. So one day I'm coming home, I see the lights come on, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm tired of it. I turn into the neighborhood and floor it and immediately realize that neighborhood is shut down due to construction. So I just lock the brakes up. Thank God I get to a complete stop before the cop makes the corner. He didn't realize that I was going to try to outrun him. So I got lucky as fuck right there.
You initiated evading arrest and then stopped.
Yeah.
Out of view of the cop. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I thought I was going to jail that day, for real.
So then one time, and this goes back to Officer Terry McDougal, same car, I'm coming home from a girlfriend's house, lights come on, I'm like, it would happen so often, it was a pain in the ass. I pull over into the Easy Go at 67th Street, or 53rd Street, right down from Atwoods. Yeah. So I pull into that Easy Go right there. The cop pulls in behind me, gets out, comes up. He sees that it's me. He's known my grandpa forever. He's known my parents. He knows my whole family. So he knows that he recognizes you. Hey, Matt, what are you doing? I said, trying to go home. He goes, where'd you get this car? Oh, it's my dad's. How fast will it go? I said, I don't know, not very fast. The speedometer only goes to 85. He goes, I got an idea. I'll go back to where I was. You go back down, you go all the way down to 67, make a U-turn and floor it. I'll clock you as you go by me. I'll meet you back here. We'll see how fast your car goes. My first thought was, this is fucking entrapment, all right? But at the same time, I'm curious too. So I was like, all right. So we turned around, went back, did it. I met him back there. He goes, 104, that's not bad. Tell your mom and dad I said hi, and went on fucking down the road, and that was it. So
That's my kind of cop.
so had it been Terry McDougal, it wouldn't surprise me if he's like, yeah, fuck it, 10 over, we'll just call it that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you still had to pay a ticket.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever got pulled over I was doing 82 in a 35. I came out of the underpass right here, headed towards Lawton High, and I was just cruising in said Camaro. So I knew it would do 83. And the cop didn't get me pulled over until like Columbia is when the cop caught up to me.
Not
Columbia
the country, not the country, not
Columbia
the country. This guy's like, holy shit.
Columbia
You got on a ferry? And the ferry
the country is a rough drive. Yeah. So he pulls me over. This is my first time ever getting pulled over. I'm 16 years old. I'm nervous as shit. I'm eating chicken nuggets while I'm driving this fast. So the cop, he just gets on his loudspeaker and he's like, get out, come back to the car. So I walk back there with my chicken nuggets. And he said, do not bring that food in my car. And I was like, so I went to set it on top of his car. And he goes, don't put that on my car. And, now looking back, the cop was just giving me shit.
Right.
So he wouldn't let me put it up. So I'm just like, So I just turned around and threw it in the people's trash can that was out by the curb. I get in the car, the cop lectures me for 20 minutes and then writes me a ticket for doing 9 over. So that way it wouldn't go on my insurance.
The people's trash can, a.k.a. Kamala Harris. It's almost election. I got to do it once. I'm neutral. I was just saying.
That's the only reason it doesn't bother me, because I know he really doesn't give a shit. You're going to have a hard time finding Andrew at a voting poll.
Well, it's because they don't let me do that anymore.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
because it was your first time in a high-speed chase. That's why you
Can I
probably
get a
can't
vote real
vote.
quick? What do y'all think about a themed storytelling show where we have no plans? We just pick a topic like run-ins with the law. Because I think we could do this for an hour and a half. Because
Well, we
as soon
can
as you
fill
said
that
that, I had so many more. I was like, oh shit, that happened.
Where's Gary? I agree with you. Oklahoma County is the shittiest jail I've ever been in. It sucks. It sucks. They do not have a sense of humor there. They don't give a shit. They don't care that you're drunk and still having a good time. They don't like it. Fuck that jail.
All right. I think, I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. I think I just bounced off some of your stories there. So, tell me about airbrushing an asshole.
Oh, okay, that's fun. I didn't do it. All right, so
I did.
we moved a lot when I was 7. Again, so this is before then. I was in Surreal. And we got an airbrush. My brother was building model cars, so you would get this like a little enamel paint thing and screw it on the bottom of a shitty airbrush, and And he was painting stuff. And then my other brother was like, it'd be funny. What if we airbrush Andrew's butt? And usually a little brother would be like, nah, but I felt included, so I was like, let's go. So we went outside. They thought they were gonna have to hold me down. I was like, nah, hit it. So I took my pants down pretty far, and my brother started airbrushing a smiley face on my butt. And it seemed funny at the time, but then he gets to the bottom part, and I feel that fucking cold air and paint just hit my asshole. Dude, the first 3 seconds, kind of refreshing. And then it goes straight to fucking fire, dude. First off, I know I wasn't wiping right back then, but that shit was on fire. Like, it felt like somebody fucking poured alcohol in a big cut, but it was my asshole. And it was...
Put the bath bomb on it.
I didn't put a bath bomb on. I didn't know about them. We were poor, it turns out.
I didn't even think about how enamel paint might affect your
it
asshole.
hurts.
It's also a thought that I've never had before.
I've had a thought about how everything. Name anything, I've already thought about how it would affect direct contact with your asshole.
That bar stool.
Direct contact's an understatement.
Turn it upside down 4 if you can sit there.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, but we have to all face out because our guts get in the way. The square shape is not good for anal penetration, by the way. You should go circle every time. Go circle or oval, but never anything with
Off the
corners in your
reservation.
asshole.
I shouldn't have said it.
Don't say that.
I shouldn't have said
Oh,
it.
dude. Apparently. Oh, God. Okay, we'll just skip all the ad-libs I had for that. Where are we? I got to ask you something. You fought Kenny. Wait a second. Stuntman Kenny.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Same Kenny?
Same Kenny. Any other young men in here ever want to be a stuntman when you were growing up? You saw all the cool shit they did on TV, and you're like, I didn't even like Sylvester Stallone. I liked the guy that actually flipped the car. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a stuntman. As a kid, yeah. So I was always doing shit. We had a shed in the backyard. I put a mattress out there. I'm doing flips off the shed. Kenny shoots me from down below. I do dying and falling off the building. We did all kinds of shit. Well, then Kenny, remember, he's crippled, but he's feeling left out. He doesn't always want to be the guy just down there play shooting. He wants to be a stuntman too. So I'm like, well, let me see if I can get you up here. Now, I was a pretty good Cub Scout, so I lashed us together. I lashed Kenny onto my back and drug this son of a bitch up a ladder, and we get to the top of the shed. Now, I do a fall, because he wants to see how it's done. From up there, that shit's a little scarier. And Kenny's like, I think I just retired from being a stuntman. I don't want to do this anymore. And I said, motherfucker, I had a hard time getting you up there. I know I can't carry you down, right? So I go back up there, and I spend 30 minutes trying to talk him into. I'm hyping him up. I'm like, you can do it. You don't even have to jump. Just lean forward. Right? That's fucked up. But he was not going for it. And all I'm thinking is, I cannot lower him down. Like, we're both dying if I try to do that. So I was like, next best thing.
Didn't hurt his legs, though.
Fucking might have broke one of them. We don't know.
Nobody knows.
Couldn't feel shit, man. Couldn't feel shit. Yeah. That was bad timing. Bad timing. That's just as my mom's walking past the back. She sees me kicking my crippled friend off the roof, and she comes out and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, he wanted to, Mom.
My first thought if I'm your mom would be, how the fuck did he get up there before? I wouldn't even be able to think about how fucked up it is. Like,
she just come out in the backyard and go, it's a miracle.
He can fly. I think I just came up with the name. If you could include that in your first special, I think I just came up with the name for your first special. Kenny was my backpack. I think would be a good one.
Dude, Kenny and I, we had to get creative. We came up with ways of getting shit done.
This dude got tired of Kenny. He's played a video game.
Which is?
It's called Titty Click. I saw it on porn.
He's over there looking up minion porn. I never associated black people with minion porn. I don't know why you said that.
I've never associated black people with minions or porn, really, except in porn.
Yeah.
That's the only kind I like to watch. I need to feel inferior when I'm watching porn.
Not
you
me.
know what I'm saying? It's like, ow.
Not me. I'm gonna be honest. It's a little bit racist when I watch porn. I automatically, if it's got a black guy in it, I'd skip. That shit just hurts my feelings. I'm like, well, I couldn't do that for her. I promise you that.
The first time I saw a girl in
Let's say
black
if somebody's got an elbow in it. God damn.
First time I ever saw a girl in black porn, I didn't realize how much goo was involved in sex until I could see the contrast.
Oh, boy.
It grossed me out a little bit, but then I got into it. You grow into things, you know? You start out.
How much
She knows what I'm talking about. She's been down there. It's got a little more color than you would think, because on a white person, off-white and clear, invisible. Put a little contrast behind that bitch. Looks like somebody's making ice cream. God damn it. Tastes like ice cream too if you do it right. Okay. I think we should do more of these shows.
God damn.
I say we do more of these shows. This is not going bad.
Jesus.
They're not eating after this, but hey, it's a weight loss plan.
I just looked at another one of yours because you're up. I looked at another one of yours, and it's good because it inspires me because I have some that can go with this one. So tell me about breaking your testicle with a skateboard.
All right, so first off, when people hear skateboard, they think I was doing something cool, like I was skateboarding.
No, the testicle part.
No. It's more about the skateboard. It's more about me as a skater. So I couldn't really skateboard that well. But what we figured out is I had Allen wrench, so we just took the trucks off, and then we put 550 cord through the things, and we tie our feet to it and jump off the roof onto the trampoline and do fucking tricks. You know, I grabbed that shit, do a backflip, and then it never landed. But
Kenny couldn't do those tricks.
I feel bad for Kenny because I had 4 wheels and I took them all off. I didn't even need them. But no, after a while we were like, all right, we're pretty good at that tied in shit. So I tried untied. And I was doing some kick flips and shit on the trampoline. I was like, all right, we're going off the roof now, bitches. So I'm like, off the roof. It's hard to get a skateboard to slide on shingles. It seems like a good idea, but I don't know how you do it. So you're just kind of going, and it looks like you're inventing a new shitty dance move. And you just keep doing it, and then you fall. And your whole goal is just to stay with the board. So I kept one foot on the board, tried to grab it, my hand slipped, it fucking hits my little testicle. Turns out that board's longer than my legs. That's how short I was at the time. And it pushed I think it was my right nut. I'll have to have her check it out tonight. But I think it was my right nut. But it pushed one up into, basically, you know how your dick goes kind of into you a little bit? Like your dick starts closer to your asshole, really. It like pushed up to where my penis is on my taint and fucking snapped my ball into 2 pieces. It sounds rough. That's because it was. So I went in the house. Oh, I got one we have to do. There's one story we have to do. Anyway, I went in the house and I laid on the couch crying like a little bitch. And my brother was making fun of me. And my mom goes, hey, I don't know much about balls, but do you think you need to go to the doctor? And this is the first time, like, at my house, you're a pussy if you go to the doctor. I was like, yes, ma'am, I do. Please. And then I didn't think about the fact when you got to go to the doctor to get your balls looked at, they want to look at your fucking balls. So this nice old man had to inspect my testicles. And then he said, all right, looks like everything's probably fine. Technically, it's not a full break. And I'm like, how is that good news? So my ball has healed a little misshapen, but it's good. It's about a 90% split, but basically think of like when you're trying to cut logs, you're trying to split firewood, and you just don't make it all the way to the bottom. It's just kind of like that. So my ball was just kind of like that, and it ended up like this.
You got a heart-shaped nut.
I got kind of a heart-shaped nut. I'll show you later at the show if you want to.
No,
it's mostly feel. You can't really see it. You got to feel it because like it's a nut. It's in the sack.
Yeah, I know how nuts work.
That's what I tell bitches, you know. No, that one's sensitive. Anyway, the doctor said, hey, I can do this or you can do this, but you're going to have to take a flashlight. I shit you not. You're going to have to take a flashlight and look through your sack to see if there's any parts floating around in there for the next 6 months or so. So every week or so, my mom would remind me to go shine a flashlight through my nutsack. True story. I had to put my dad's mag light. I never thought about it until it was right now, actually. I was putting my dad's fucking high-end mag light flashlight under my nutsack. I wasn't showering for this either. I was just doing it midday. And then you got to look for like particles. That's it. There were no particles. We're good. It's all one nut.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never thought about putting a flashlight under my sack until now.
It looks pretty cool.
I kind of want to see if I can see through mine.
You ever seen like a bat wing or anything? It's the same thing as a bat wing.
Yeah.
It's veiny. It's cool. It's fun, dude. Every man in here tonight and this little boy, they're going to go home and they're going to put a fucking flashlight. It's going to be his dad's flashlight. His dad's a cop. He's going to take his dad's Surefire flashlight, put that shit under his balls, and burn his retina because his ball sack's still not developed. It's going to fucking hit him.
Aren't you glad you came?
He's like, what are you talking about? I'm 14. I come every day. 4 times. Twice before work, once on the lunch break, once after work. That's how you sleep. He knows how to jack off. He's got her. He doesn't even have to jack off anymore, right? You helping him out with it?
Oh, Jesus, Andrew. Jesus.
They're probably, are y'all adults? Don't tell me. It's fucked up that I said all that. You have to be 18 to be in here, so I assume they're 18. I'm talking shit.
They young and in love, look.
Ew. That's gross. What? Oh, my turn?
You ain't gotta be in love to have a baby.
Oh, shit. I like the one after Stuntman King a lot.
Huh?
I'm gonna ignore them and say I like the one after Stuntman Kenny a lot. But did we have any more? You said that would remind you of some shit. My balls would remind you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of testicle damage in my day. But I was a little bit older. I mean, we're sticking to like childhood, right?
We can do whatever we want.
This is like 16, 17.
We just have to keep track of these stories for if we do this again, so people aren't like, again with the balls and the flashlight.
Yeah. So at some point in my childhood, I decided I wanted to ride bulls, which you can already.
Wait. Is a bull like a bear but hairless? It's like a big gay man?
Yeah, just a big, large gay man.
Okay. Me too.
No. No. So my two major injuries is one time I got I'd gotten bucked off one and I was on my hands and knees scrambling trying to get up and he comes up behind me and he just scoops me with his horn, so it comes up between my legs and he just kind of picks me up and throws me, which sounds horrible, but it's also not nearly as bad as it fucking could have been. But it is the equivalent of getting kicked in the nuts by an NFL kicker. Like it was brutal. So I've heard guys brag about, dude, I got the biggest balls in here. Bitch, I've had the biggest balls in the room, and fuck it, you can keep them. That shit sucks. I was still in high school. I had to go to school every day wearing sweatpants or wind pants, and I carried an ice pack with me everywhere I went. It was absolutely brutal.
Why does that hurt more than my story? Like, that hurt my balls, and my ball thing happened to my balls.
Next one sounds even worse, way less painful.
Okay.
Again, I was in a practice pen. We were getting on a bunch of practice bulls, and I landed on my back, and I was scuffling backwards trying to get away. As the bull turns around, he steps right between my legs. Now, I don't know if y'all know this. You know how dogs got that dew claw on the back? Bulls have that too, only theirs with 2,000 pounds of pressure, cut like a razor. So it cuts my pants and my sack. So then I stand up and I take off running. How many of y'all didn't know this? Your testicles are attached by a cord, right?
I knew that.
Well, when you jump up and take off running, and you've got a rip or a cut in it, you just got a nut hanging out by its cord, and that son of a bitch is down here bouncing off your blue jeans while you're trying to run. Then I go over and I sit on the side of, we drove a minivan. What we went down the roadie, and I'm sitting on the, we had the sliding door open. I'm sitting on the edge of the step. I got my feet open. I'm looking at my nut. It's hanging about half the distance from me to the ground. And I'm like, I don't fucking know what to do. My buddy doesn't want to touch it because that would be gay. So he reaches over and he grabs a stick. And he takes the stick and flips my nut back up into my jeans for me. And to the hospital we went, and I got 7 stitches in the bottom of my sack to hold my nuts back in.
If you had 3 balls, you could have braided them. That would be cool as fuck. Then you want to have kids, though. That was the most offensive thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's what I was saying. It's like there was the one where I got split and the nut came in, very little pain. Like there was no pain.
I don't know why.
There was no damage to the testicle. It was just to the sack.
Yeah. Which, I mean, a sack cut, I could do. I mean, I've cut my nuts shaving before. You ever hit them with a clipper, though? Like, you've done it. You bite your nuts with a clipper and it's just, and you just fucking take a chunk out and you go, oh.
Have you ever been using the clippers and the battery dies?
Oh, yeah.
So you're just going, and it just dies, so now you're just ripping the hair out? That'll make you sing. That'll make you.
Well,
yeah, my Manscaped lawnmower, the fucking battery died about halfway through the bush.
I use the same one on my face and my nuts. I've been told that's weird.
Not as long as you wash your nuts.
Yeah, dude, I would put my nuts on my face right now.
Don't sniff your razor. That's weird.
My nuts smell good.
Yeah, but we already know that both y'all nuts is not anatomically correct.
They're not correct. These nuts are a little off. All right, what we got?
They're not sitting right.
Huh? Do a whole show on balls?
They said call us the oddballs.
I like that. I thought you said do a
Yeah.
whole show on balls. I was like, what the fuck? I already did a whole show on penises once.
All right, let's get to the warehouse.
Okay.
Explain people.
Yeah, I tried to hold back on that when I said I lived in Surreal till 07 because I knew you were going to ask me about that at some point. So when I was a kid, my dad was a stockbroker and he had a client that was wealthy. And the guy owned a lot of properties, and one of them was a giant, and I mean giant, set of warehouses. Not a warehouse. It's like 2 big giant buildings, several acres of land, rock quarries, fucking kerosene pumps, all that shit. And he was like, hey, you want to just live in my warehouse and I'll just let you live there for free? And of course, my dad's cheap as fuck. He's like, sight unseen, we're moving in. So when I was about 3 months old, we moved into a warehouse, and that's where I grew up. That's where I got my airbrushed asshole. It's where I found out about Brandon's doo-doo dolls. It's a lot of shit, but the warehouse was fucking weird. So it's so big, like there's offices, that's where we're sleeping. Like there's like my bedroom, even though there's about 35 offices that are all huge and could be good bedrooms, we still shared a bedroom. Like my dad was like, nah, those kids don't need their own bedrooms. I think he thought it would lead to masturbation. Didn't stop me having my brother in a bunk bed. But anyway, it was weird. We had a tanning room, we had a gift wrap room, we had a hockey court in my house, we had a basketball court in my house, we had a on concrete soccer field, but not field. I guess you'd call it a soccer court. I don't fucking know. It's hard, it's court. That's what I say.
Fix them balls, though.
Well, this is pre-balls. My balls were fine back then. I mean, I don't think anybody at the church was looking at them, so I think my balls were fine back then. But no, it was crazy, and like it was such a big building, and we had the building we lived in. I would say it's about the size of like a half a Walmart, maybe 3/4 of a Walmart. Same size building behind it, and there's a big ass fence. So if you go out the back door and you want to go to the front door, it's about a mile. Like you got to go all the way off the property, on the street, back up around to the front door. So there was a moment where I was being lazy, okay? My brothers always locked me out. They thought it was hilarious. We also had a crane. They would put me in a trash can, tie it to the crane, and leave me up in the fucking thing for an hour. But that's not even funny to me. That's just the thing that happened. But my brother locked me out, and I was banging on the door. Nobody would let me in. And I was like, fuck this shit. I'm 5 years old, and I just decide I don't want to walk that far. I'll drive. So I hop up in my mom's fucking big-ass gray van, and I just remember my brother would move the car occasionally for my mom, and I just remember him go, slide it into D, and then let off the brake. And I remember he said that, and I was like, I got this. I knew letters, so I slid it down to D. I figured if you're letting the brake off, you probably put the brake on, but I figured that out the hard way. I kept pulling on it, it wouldn't work. I was like, oh, brake. I've got an hour of trying to figure out how to drive a car at 5. It's hot as fuck. I'm sweating my dick off. Didn't know how to start shit. Didn't know air conditioner, none of that. But I got it running. Got it fucking moving. So I just let off the brake, never pushed the gas. And I just eased my way down the fucking driveway. I got about halfway down before my mom found out because she looked out the window and said, Deuce, that's my brother. She said, Deuce, go get him. Not even, bitch, you're being lazy. I'm driving your car. I'm halfway out the fucking... We lived off a highway, dude. This is not a good idea. So I'm halfway down. My brother jumps in the fucking window, slams the thing in the park, and punches me, which is... That's fair. I think that he had to work because of me. He did lock me out, but it's fair. I got punched one time. My mom loses her fucking mind, obviously, and she goes, you could have got killed and all this shit like she cared about me. She did. She was sad. But... she lost her fucking mind. And my mom was usually not the one to discipline us. Usually she'd be like, when your dad gets home. But this time, she fucking got a belt. And it was not a normal belt. It's one of those cowboy belts that has all the little metal things on it and the metal tip. You got one? Does anybody have one? I need one for demonstration purposes. But they have like a hard metal tip. My mom beat the fuck out of me with that belt. I was bruised from my knee to my lower back. My mom whipped the shit out of me because she was just terrified. Like, I really, honestly, I don't know what I would do in the same situation, but... I'm proud of her. Beat the fuck out of me, and the little tip goes flying off, and we got concrete floors. You just hear ding, 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 and she goes, that's probably enough. And then she yelled at me, says, go to your room. I'm in my room crying. My brother's such a smartass. My other brother, not the one that chased me down, Billy. Billy fucking finds that little metal piece, and he comes up in there and he goes, you okay? And I was like, he had never been like concerned about my well-being ever. And he goes, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know, man. He goes, you want something to make you feel better? I got a souvenir for you. It's that little tip. He's like, you can keep that to remember this day. And I was like, honestly, he's going to make a great dad one day because that motherfucker will make you remember what not to do. So that's a fun story about child abuse that I earned. I will say, I earned that shit. I think I should have got my ass whooped at least that hard for trying to... I was technically trying to steal a vehicle at 5, if you really break it down.
It didn't keep you from doing it in the future, though.
I haven't stole a lot of vehicles since then.
A lot.
A lot.
Okay, what's a high number for Grand Theft Auto? Or they're all cheap cars.
6.
We're under 6. That's all that matters.
Are you good to go?
Is it technically
It's not stealing if you have a key. That's what I say. Now, if you got to break in the house to get the key, it's hard to explain to the cops, but it's fine. All right. You like Garth Brooks?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Everybody was a fucking Garth Brooks fan. Don't act like you weren't, okay?
Wait, hold on. What was his alter ego?
Chris Gaines. I was not a fan of that. That was a weird time in my life because I was like, man, this guy that I like so much just got weird.
I showed somebody a picture of Chris Gaines, and they go, "Is that Chris Angel, the magician?"
100%.
Dude,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So,
anyway.
all right. So in the summertime, I would go spend the summer with my uncle who lived over in Frederick, and he owned a mechanic shop over in Tipton. So every morning we'd get up early. He'd fill up his tanker truck. We'd drive all the way to Tipton. He'd unload the fuel, and then he would work on cars all day, and I would just be fucking bored, right? So I spent all my time just wandering around Tipton, Oklahoma, looking for something to keep myself busy. I couldn't find anything, but I did find my uncle had a CB in his Bronco, right? Back then, a lot of people, especially out in the country, a lot of people had CBs, and they were always turned to the emergency station. That was the same as their, getting notifications on Facebook now about shit going on, right? So they would listen if something bad would happen. I didn't know that. All I knew is that there was a microphone, and I had a lot of time to kill. So I laid down in the front seat of this Bronco, keyed up this microphone, and I sang an entire Garth Brooks album. I gave them Shameless. I gave them Friends in Low Places. I sang that album from top to bottom, didn't miss a fucking word. Now I'm tired and thirsty after singing it. I put on a whole Garth Brooks tribute concert, right? I'm thirsty. So as soon as I let go of that mic, there's somebody on the other end going, I don't know who this is, but please get off the radio. And I just hung that shit up and ran inside real quick, and I spent the rest of the day terrified that they were somehow going to triangulate where we were and tell my uncle what I had done.
Isn't it funny that you can be paranoid about somebody knowing what you did when there's no way they're gonna can't see you.
Nope.
But you were a kid and you were fucking dumb.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. How do they not know, right?
Why were we so dumb and why haven't we got better yet?
I don't know.
It's weird.
My wife is confused about why I'm not smarter now than when she first met me.
You would think we would grow as people.
Yeah.
My penis grows every day.
I've backslid, if anything, when it comes to being people.
No. It grows and shrinks. Boners, erections. I know you don't know much about them anymore, but at your age, it's gonna be fine. You'll get some Blue Chew. Today's episode is sponsored by Blue Chew.
Rochambeau.
Oh shit. Okay. I don't know what Rochambeau means to everybody else, but I do now. I think. Okay. Let me ask. What is Rochambeau? Let's start there. What do you think Rochambeau is?
I don't know, it's on South Park. They keep each other in the dick.
Okay, yeah, that's what we did. So
yeah, that's a different version from what I grew up with.
Yeah, it's like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, it's rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, so Rochambeau to most Americans is more like rock, paper, scissors than kicking each other in the nuts. I don't know why. We had two things when I was a kid that should have never mixed, but we had a thing we called a showdown, which like in a country or a Western movie, they have a showdown, two people, and they shoot each other. We would see who would take the most clothes off before they got too embarrassed to run and hide. So my brother and I would just strip butt naked 20 feet apart and stare at each other. I don't know. I don't know why. We're talking like 3 or 4. I wasn't doing weird shit yet.
This wasn't at the last family reunion.
No.
You were children.
We still do, but no. We're not at a family reunion. We do that at a hotel.
The stakes are higher now.
Yeah, but no, we would do that, and then at some point we started, we grew out of that, and we started just kicking each other in the nuts. And we just go, hey, who can take more nut shots? So we just take turns. I got a hard kick, by the way. But like full blown, just kicking each other in the nuts. And then we asked my cousin, hey, do you want to play Rochambeau? They thought rock, paper, scissors, and they said yes. My brother's like, all right, line up. So my cousin's just standing, he's like, all right. And he goes, I don't know what you do with your hands. Boom! So my cousin does not have children yet. No, I'm joking. He has kids. It's fine. But it's called childhood. You never seen Sandlot? We did fucked up shit. That happened on the Sandlot, right?
Yep.
Sure.
I don't know what version it was, but yeah.
My brother met one of the actors from the Sandlot at Magic Seminars in Vegas.
Was it Smalls?
I don't know. No, it wasn't Smalls because he's cool. It was one I didn't even recognize when he showed me a picture. Also, that guy apparently got his first hooker in Vegas and said that he felt like he was taken advantage of by a hooker. He was like, dude, I thought I was going to get to fuck her. She just hopped on, fucked me, ran off, took my money. I was like, I think that's a hooker, sir.
Yeah.
Not my brother,
That's more
the
than
guy
that.
from the thing. Okay.
More than enough.
I feel like it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, they're trying to work hard. You know, you're trying to get as many as you can in a day. You don't want to fucking sit there and be like, you just, bye, bitch. You come quick, still $80. You come quick, I make more money. Okay, go ahead.
That was yours.
Oh, shit. That was mine. All right.
That's how you jumped a couple times.
All right, so I... Oh, I would be a good girl.
Oklahoma Bull Rider right there.
Oh boy.
Is there such a thing as reverse cowboy? It's a sex position. Reverse cowgirl is a sex position. You've done it. You just don't know the name of it. It's fine. I like to see who I'm fucking, though, I think. But anyway, you apparently were raised with
Yeah, I
5
talked.
girl cousins. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
But then,
So everybody
who
like-
potty trained you?
5 girl cousins. So anybody, if you grew up with older siblings, they helped teach you shit, right? Like they taught you how to do stuff. They taught you, and if you were that much younger than them, they would even help potty train you, like help you go to the bathroom, make sure you're doing everything right. But since everybody that was older than me was girls, until I was 22 years old, if I just went pee, I still ripped off a square of toilet paper and daubed the end of my penis because I was raised by girls who told me that you wipe after you pee.
Do you sit too?
No, I didn't sit.
God, okay.
I do sometimes now just because I'm fucking lazy.
Same. Dude,
Like I would
we could watch
rather
a
just
movie.
sit to pee so I can play another level of game on my phone, you know?
Dude, it's hard to win at Candy Crush when you got one hand with a little dick in it.
Yeah. And when you're sitting, you ain't got to aim.
No. But then you gotta drip longer. You ever notice that? Like you sit down and like kink something, then you gotta like half stand for a minute. You gotta like, you know, almost. That was just for them. Okay.
I think you might need to get that checked out. That's what I think.
I got that drippy dick. It's not an STD, it's piss, okay? I might have prostate problems because I'm always getting it milked, but I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Oh, boy.
I actually, like, for all the weird shit I say, I think everybody will be surprised to hear. I have never even asked somebody to put a thumb in my butt while they were blowing me. Never.
It just happened.
Not yet. It hasn't happened yet.
All right. We're at the hour mark. I'm going to ask you this last one because this one you circled and put a star by it.
Okay, it's so weird, and I feel so weird. Okay, I didn't think, we'll start with, I know what it is. I didn't think this was weird at all until I told Brandy, my wife. Her reaction was tears. She laughed so hard, and I was like, it's not that funny. And that's what makes it funny to me. So y'all might not even think it's that funny, but the fact that I didn't think it was funny makes it funny. Go ahead and ask me.
All I'm supposed to say is pre-cum.
Okay, let me start. God, this is weird. Let me start by saying I was raised very, very religious. Like, we weren't allowed to listen to any music that was not Christian music. We didn't watch TV. We didn't have a TV until I was probably like teens, maybe. We were very, very religious. Sometimes Jewish, sometimes not. You know? But very religious. So I didn't know what porn was or anything, and I discovered lowridermagazine.com. That was some good shit, dude. So first off, hot Latinas. Second, guys would just submit pictures of their wife with their lowrider, and some of those guys would submit topless lady. You know, so this was my pornography. This was like right after Victoria's Secret, right before real porn. This was that transitional porn. He knows about it. He just got there. Transitional porn. So I'm looking at the transitional porn. I'm the only one home. Dial up. You'll learn later. Dial up internet. I got the sound for like 10 hours waiting for, it felt like 10 hours. I'm already hard. I know what I'm doing. And I was just sitting at the computer, fucking looking, and I found the best one. She was probably in her 20s. Most of them were middle-aged. She didn't have a gut. Some of them did. And she had some nice titties. And I started, y'all can guess. I was masturbating, okay? I was jerking my little wiener. And, and I had never really masturbated like I had rubbed it a few times, but I hadn't really started working on that yet. That wasn't in the cards for me. And I didn't know what masturbation was. Like, nobody had told me not to do it. I didn't know I was sinning. And again, I'm very religious, and I get a little pre-cum. And I look down and I go, wow, this is cool, because I was licking my hand. And now I got free lubricant, and I swear to God, I swear on all things holy, this was my only thought at the moment. God wants me to do this because he gave me lube. He doesn't give other people lube. I thought I was special because my dick was making me keep jerking. I thought that's what pre-cum was. I'm not even fucking playing. I swear. I was sitting there jerking it, using pre-cum as lube. I don't know if I could do that ever again, but I'm just going on. And this is an exaggeration for sure. It was more like, I know I was getting a little, and I was just, oh my God. I have no idea how long it lasted, but I pre-came a lot. And then I let one loose and deleted the history, and that mouse was sticky, but we're good to go. That made me nervous. True story. Word for word, real shit. God's gift.
I want to tell you how ashamed I am that story has inspired me to share one more story.
This is my new favorite show.
Okay.
Holy shit.
I wasn't... At the end of this story, I'll explain to you why I wasn't going to tell it. Because I thought about this story before, and I was like, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to do that one. So when I was a kid, sometimes my uncle worked a rotating shift, and my aunt would sometimes have to work at night. So when they were both on nights, my mom and I would go stay at their house, so that way their kids weren't alone overnight, right? Well, my uncle, since he was a Goodyear guy, right? And so he had his own room at their house because my aunt was like, no, fuck it, you ain't fucking up my sleep schedule, you know what I mean? Like, you got your room, I got my room. So when we would go over there and stay, I would just stay in my uncle's room. So I had my own room. He had his own bathroom. It was great. So I'm using the bathroom one night. I'd already been told to go to bed. And I look up, and my uncle had a subscription to Playboy magazine. And there were stacks of these things. So I climb up on the toilet and I get one. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Moving this way, I'm reading their likes and interests just in case I actually get to meet them, This thing's amazing. And also, it dawns on me, I don't know why, and I don't know what my age would have been at this time, but I was young. I don't know why, but looking at these made that thing happen to my wiener that sometimes it's just like that in the morning. Now all of a sudden it's like that in the middle of the night. I don't know what's going on, but I know while I'm looking at it, without even thinking about it, next thing I know, I'm rubbing it. And then it went off. Now, this is the first orgasm I'd ever had in my life, which is complete ecstasy, right? Immediately followed by fucking fear, because I know I just did something wrong. There's a mess. I don't know what the fuck to do with this, right? What if somebody walks in right now? There's no explaining this shit, right? So I'm terrified. So I learned about orgasms and post-nut clarity, just like that. So I get everything cleaned up. I put the magazine back up, and he was a collector of these magazines, so they were like in order and shit. So I had to climb back up there and go, fuck, this is March, goddamn, January, February, March, fucking, I had to make sure I got back, because I was afraid he would go, I don't know, I thought he went in there and checked his dialogue every day to make sure they were in the right order, which I'm sure he did not. But, so I get everything put back up, I get cleaned up, I get laid back down in bed, my mind is reeling, trying to figure out what has just happened in my life. And then all of a sudden it dawns on me, nobody knows yet. Let me see what's in the April one. So I go back, I get it, And I haven't quit touching that son of a bitch since. You know what I mean? I wore the skin off that son of a bitch in the first 3 nights. I tell you that. But that was my first
Nice.
I wasn't going to tell that story because this is my aunt right over here. So she just found out that my first orgasm was at her house.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad you came. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm so glad he came in your house. It's all the same. All right, this has been fun. Before is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, we got.
Yeah, when I
Can we
come,
take a
I'm
vote?
done.
Do y'all want to do this again?
Yes.
Okay.